Questioner. Beloved Master, an empty chair, a silent hall, an introduction to Buddha, how eloquent. How rare. Yes, Subhuti, that's the only way to introduce the Buddha to you. Silence is the only language he can be expressed in. Words are too profane, too inadequate, too limited. Only an empty space, utterly silent, can represent the being of a Buddha. There is a temple in Japan, absolutely empty. Not even a statue of the Buddha in the temple, and it is known as a temple dedicated to Buddha. When visitors come and they ask, "Where is the Buddha?" The temple is dedicated to him. The priest laughs and he says, "This empty space, this silence, this is Buddha." Stones cannot represent him. Statues cannot represent him. Buddha is not a stone, not a statue. Buddha is not a form, Buddha is a formless fragrance. Hence, it was not just accidental that 10 days silence preceded these talks on Buddha. That silence was the only possible preface.
It is true that there is nothing more beautiful, more blissful than enlightenment. Even the talk of it even the faraway echo, even the shadow of it, the moon reflected in the water is not the real moon. But still it has tremendous beauty. And if the waters of your mind are silent, and the moon reflected in those waters is exactly the same. It is not your experience, but it is someone's experience you love. It is someone's experience you trust. And just because you love and you trust, you start sharing the experience in a subtle way. It is certainly difficult to say anything about it. Although my whole life I have been saying things about it, and only about it. Even if though I am talking about other things, I am only talking to lead you towards an understanding of enlightenment.
Subhuti, you are right, an empty chair. Yes, only an empty chair can represent him. This chair is empty, and this man talking to you is empty. It is an empty space pouring itself into you. There is nobody within, just a silence. Because you cannot understand silence, it has to be translated into language. It is because of your limitation that I have to speak, otherwise there is no need. Truth cannot be said, has never been said, will never be said. All scriptures talk about truth, go on talking about and about, but no scripture has yet been capable of expressing it, neither the Vedas, nor the Bible, nor the Quran, because it is impossible in the very nature of things to express it. It cannot be said, it can only be shown. It cannot be logically proved, but love can prove it. Where logic fails, love succeeds. Where language fails, silence succeeds. I cannot prove it, but the absence of the I within me can become an absolute proof for it. If you want to understand Buddha, really, you will have to come closer and closer to this silence that I am. You will have to become more and more intimate, available, vulnerable to this nobody who is talking to you. I am not a person. The person died long ago. It is a presence, an absence and a presence. I am absent as a person, as an individual. I am present as a vehicle, a passage, a hollow bamboo. It can become a flute, only the hollow bamboo can become a flute. I have given myself to the whole. Now whatsoever the will of the whole. If he wants to speak through me, I am available. If he does not want to speak through me, I am available. His will is the only will now. I have no will of my own. That's why many times you will find contradictions in my statements, because I cannot change anything. God is contradictory because God is a paradox. He contains the polar opposites. He is darkness and light, summer and winter, life and death. Sometimes he speaks as life and sometimes as death, and sometimes he comes as summer and sometimes as winter. What can I do? If I interfere, I will misrepresent. If I try to be consistent, then I will be false. I can be true only if I will remain available to all the contradictions that God contains. This chair, Subhuti, is certainly empty. And the day you are able to see this chair empty, this body empty, this being empty, you will have seen me, you will have contacted me. That is the real moment when the disciple meets the master. It is a dissolution, a disappearance, the dewdrop slipping into the ocean, or the ocean slipping into the dewdrop. It is the same. The master disappearing into the disciple, and the disciple disappearing into the master. And then there prevails a profound silence.